On this week's episode of the Harper Belmont podcast with Ryan and Donovan, we're going to be talking about stuff. And by the podcast, I mean this is our testing take 2. Will it ever see the light of day? I'm Ryan Harper, and with me,
as always, I think my whole thing is, you know how when you take a picture now, and the iPhone has the thing where it turns you into like a force ghost? You know what I mean?
Did you say foreskin?
Never say that. Force ghost. A force ghost.
A force ghost.
A force ghost.
What's a force ghost?
No one likes Star Wars today. No one.
I know what force is. Oh,
okay. Where it's blue.
The blue ghost.
It does it where,
but they're not ghosts.
No, I mean he's really there,
They're
but
just
it makes
astral projections.
It makes the color. Oh, you want to go down that rabbit hole today?
I don't know.
I have so many problems with the new Star Wars movies.
They're perfect.
In what universe is killing a young boy? I was a young boy once. I'm gonna get close to the mic. I was a young boy.
Why don't you move his chair up so you can get in there?
Shh, listen. Could we do ASMR?
Yes. These mics are good for the ASMR.
What if ASMR was just
when you were a young boy?
No, okay. When I was a young boy, where was I even? Oh, yes. I remember now. When I was a young man, I had a hero. Did you ever have a hero? Did you?
I don't like
You see where I'm going with this?
Mayonnaise and hummus. I'm not a hummus fan.
Hero. That's a Greek. I love those, but I had a hero. His name was Han Solo. Perhaps you've heard of him.
Oh.
I don't know if you know about the new movies, but in the final act of the very first one of 3 movies, which I was all the way emotionally invested in, patricide.
Yeah. It was almost like, you know what? We know Carrie's dead or dying or gonna be dead. He doesn't want to be in the other videos or movies either.
Well, I think Harrison Ford's long had disdain for Star Wars, and he just seems like one of those guys. Harrison Ford seems like one of those guys that somehow became the luckiest boy in America, right? He's Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
Yeah. And Blade Runner.
And he's just angry about all of it.
Yeah.
Like all the time. It's like, what's your problem, dude?
What was it, like Anchorman 2?
Yeah.
Like the behind the scenes where he's like, I don't know, Mike, are you still good on audio? So AC break, the AC cut on, so we have to turn the AC off.
We have to wait for that.
Waiting. Well, we could always just keep going, and then it's just like, hey, this audio is kind of ishy right now, but it's fine. It's
Should
fine.
I save all my brilliant points for when the audio goes away?
Let's just keep going.
All right.
Han Solo, patricide.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. He was a Blade Runner.
Not Total Recall.
But I
always get those two mixed up.
Yeah.
I 100% of the time get those two mixed up. And recently, I had a conversation with somebody where I was meaning to say, have you seen the terrible Total Recall remake with Colin Farrell? Or not, but what I said instead was, yeah, did you see that terrible Blade Runner movie with Colin Farrell? And me, being a film guy, it made me look like the stupidest person that's ever walked the face of the planet for messing that up.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think Total Recall with Colin Farrell was good.
What do you think is the biggest sin as a film guy? Like when it comes to getting something messed up?
As a family guy?
Family
guy. Well, cheating on your spouse would be one.
I'm a film connoisseur. I like movies. I watch movies. I make movies.
And what would be
what would be like the cardinal? Like,
cardinal
oh my
sin?
god, yeah.
Well,
like not talking to the mic.
If you were, is that the thing? Because
you want to be like right here.
How close?
Like 6 inches, and like real 6 inches, not like.
Stop. Okay, so here's the deal. Look, Is this better?
I don't. Probably not.
No.
He said no.
He said no. Okay.
Sounds better.
Right here, like that. Sweaty
really
balls.
Good. Sounds really good.
Sweaty balls.
Sounds really.
Do you ever see that skit? I'm not just saying that. It's
too close.
Too close. That's what I thought. Tupac.
The cardinal sin of video filmmaking.
Cardinal sin of video filmmaking.
Like you messed up.
Okay. So
not being a filmmaker and never seeing
Braveheart.
Braveheart. Paul.
Yeah, I think the cardinal sin for filmmaking. If you want me to be funny, I have lots of funny things I can say. But if you think serious,
Both.
both? Okay. If I was going to answer this in a humorous way, I would say that the cardinal sin of filmmaking would be to maybe not have seen, to maybe reference something. There's nothing funny about it. When it comes to cardinal sins of filmmaking, like, I think because...
Like, from a movie you haven't seen or a take, like...
Yeah, I think, like, a movie that every filmmaker should see, like...
Citizen Kane.
Not Citizen Kane. That's, like, you'll never get that time back.
Rosebud.
But, like, The Godfather. I think that's fair. The Godfather is equally as boring as Citizen Kane, but groundbreaking in its acting performances. Citizen Kane might be the most boring movie I've ever seen. And I get it. It's kind of like the first time somebody goes, you're like, whoa, are the first caveman. Yeah, there's my thumb. So
yeah,
that's what Citizen Kane is. Citizen Kane is the first time anybody ever took somebody else's nose. That's what it is. I got your nose. That's Citizen Kane. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Sorry, but that's where I stand.
Yeah.
And also, anybody
but you
who
never
thinks
said
that
what-
other Orson Welles movie that they put on Netflix is good,
But you never said
is
what the
just
faux
a
pas was.
sconch. The faux pas, I think.
Other than not seeing Braveheart.
I think you got to see Braveheart. I think you got to see Braveheart.
If you're going to be a film guy.
You got to see Braveheart. Braveheart has a lot of actually funny film errors in it. A lot of mishaps because, not nearly as many as Lord of the Rings, which is funny because Lord of the Rings was shot, 10 years later with a lot bigger budget.
What's the biggest error in filmmaking?
I think people really screw it up with audio. I think continuity becomes a big issue. Like audio.
I think mine, I'm going to cut you off because you're going into...
Where you're going?
Well, no, you're going into generalizations and not in a specific. I would say Wizard of Oz having a dead dude in the background.
Is that real?
Yes.
Though?
Yes.
Is it really a dead dude?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
It probably is.
It probably is, yeah.
Because here's what I have learned.
I don't know, it's problem.
Whatever Hollywood tells you, it's usually the opposite. So like when people are always like, oh my gosh, Zoe Kravitz is such a good actor. My response to that is, oh my gosh, Zoe Kravitz is so pretty. Like that's basically it. You're a pretty person.
Yes.
Brad
with
Pitt's,
a family, with a famous father.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's not a good actor. He's won an Academy Award, but you know why he won an Academy Award? Because he was on set with the madman who made him cry. Like, I mean, look.
And he's Brad Pitt.
I can't say he's not a good actor.
mean,
I could say
listen, those abs in Fight Club, or not Fight Club, Snatch.
Brad Pitt plays the same character in every movie, though. He's always like, oh, dude.
Like,
yeah.
Wouldn't Jack Nicholson have like 17 Oscars and he's Jack Nicholson in every movie?
Yeah, well,
Hot take. Who's that one chick?
Zoe Kravitz?
No, the Martha Stewart looking.
Martha Stewart?
No.
Are you sure it's not Martha Stewart?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
Not very good. Overrated.
Unpopular opinion. Meryl Streep could do Macbeth and she'd get nominated for an Academy Award because...
I'm just saying, like, how hard is it to make a choice? Sophie's Choice?
Sophie's Choice?
I mean, just choose.
I get that. My whole...
That kid complains too much. I'm going to go with the kid that shuts up.
Was she in the Dingo?
If you don't get
was
that,
she in the Dingo?
go watch Sophie's Choice. Go wherever the camera is. Go YouTube Sophie's Choice right now. Meryl Streep.
Was she in the Dingo Baby movie? Not the Dingo Baby, but the Baby Got My Dingo, or the Dingo Got My Baby.
That sounds like a...
It's not one of those. The Dingo Got My Baby. It's the Australian movie where they're on the epic. I think it's got Sam Neill in it, the guy from...
Crocodile Dundee?
No, that's more of like a New Zealand thing I'm doing. Because there's a question at the end. A little bit like Flight of the Conchords. Have you seen Our Flag Means Death?
I haven't yet.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about accents, though.
I've never loved a show more than I love.
Really? Is it worth it? I almost watched it last night, but I didn't.
As far as comedy, as far immediately liking something, when I say I've never loved something, obviously that's a giant statement. But I've never immediately been like, oh, this is exactly what I want to watch.
Well, I tried watching that one show.
Flight of the Conchords?
No, the other one. The one that you wanted me to watch, that we watched one video that has like the little skits.
No, it's hard to get through.
Like, I don't like...
Some of it's funny.
What is it called again?
I Think You Should Leave.
I Think You Should Leave. So, like, I don't like comedy that's embarrassing of the actor or the person. Because, like, to me,
You're the person.
I'm the person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm embarrassed for them.
Yeah,
So,
I get that.
any movies that have that embarrassing factor, I'm like, I cringe. But if it's just funny, I like it.
Yeah, I get that. I think, like, for me...
Like awkward funny is not. I'm sure it's funny, but awkward funny is just awkward and it makes me embarrassed.
Is it like watching American Idol? Because
I've never seen it.
Okay, see, that show makes me cringe because the auditions are the worst thing that's ever happened. Mm-hmm. And what's really sad about American Idol is all these
killed modern music, Western music.
Yeah, I mean that one guy, the guy with who's the guy that won that one year that was like, why did you win? There's no way. The guy, his song was like, "Do I make you proud?"
He's
he looked
the one
kind of like George
beat
Clooney.
Out. So there's the guy that guy. But there's also the
Not
dude
Sanjaya.
with that big black dude that beat out Clay Aiken.
Oh, Ruben.
Yeah.
So what's
I'm
funny
sure he was
about
good, but
Ruben,
Clay Aiken was like, I mean, I'm not a fan, but like that when he did that "Somebody to Love" or
Stutter.
No, he did a song where it's like
Clay Aiken.
Clay Aiken did a song, and it's a really good YouTube video now, where it's like, and I don't think it's "Somebody to Love," but it's
clean.
I know, but it's like he did a song like that, and you're just like, oh my god, he is amazing,
really talented.
He's so good.
Do you know what I think though? I think that there's a good chance
It's
that
gonna bother me so much I can't think of
any
the song.
token bartender or server that you find in Nashville can probably sing circles around any dude that's ever been on American Idol.
Bringing it back
Because
to the film, there's like a famous. I'm paraphrasing horribly. Bryan Cranston was asked who's the most talented actor he's ever met. He said probably some guy named Steve at a class that you've never heard of.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
And it was like, so what separates you? Is like luck.
Exactly. That's it. The greatest actors and the greatest musicians and the greatest artists and the greatest creators in the world are people that we have never heard of.
So here's how I know acting is bullshit. I guess we got to beep that out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So,
beep.
Can't show this on my page. Okay.
Anyway, this is how you know acting is all BS. Mm-hmm. The fact that somebody who's never been trained in it, who's never done it, their first project, their first anything, can win the most prestigious award for that thing.
Yeah, because you're looking for a fresh vision. You're looking for some kind of fresh take. The thing that drives me bonkers is when somebody on a set, or like if we're doing pre-pro on something, somebody
Pre-pro?
pre-pro,
Like poo-poo?
pre-production.
Pre-production?
We're doing pre-production on anything. Or we're
Pre-production
coming up with a shot,
for in the know, people.
or we're coming on for coming up with a shot list.
Yeah.
Like my whole thing is when my whole thing is I'm gonna stand I'll stand like one of those reptilian dude leaders. Every time they're at a podium, they're like this.
Okay. Your whole thing is?
My whole thing. What am I talking about? My whole thing is acting. Acting. And that's acting. Scene. My whole thing is that if you're gonna say you can't do that, then you're no longer a part of my team. Like if we're doing a pre-pro and we're coming up with the idea and the visual, and somebody goes, "Oh, it breaks the 180-degree rule," I'm just like, "All right, you're fired. I'm out."
It's what I have an issue with anybody that works here. Not anymore, but like the why. Hey,
Why?
we should do this. Why?
Why?
It's like why to understand how to do a thing. I get. Why? Because you want to better understand the vision. I get. Why? Because I don't really want to do it.
You're out.
Get out of here.
Yeah, like I
You're
mean,
being a sconch.
do you think that shows like
Sconch and Friends.
Sconch and Friends?
That could be the podcast name.
Do you think Euphoria?
Never seen it.
Okay, so Euphoria is a show that on a just baseline looking at the plot, it's not something that I would jump to.
I tried to watch an episode because I love Zendaya. I think
great.
she's super talented. I think she's gorgeous. Now that I know she's like in her late 20s versus, I think like
Wasn't she a TV star or something? I don't know.
I think
didn't
she's
even
at
know
Disney. She did like a music career, but
I never heard of her until The Greatest Showman or whatever.
Well, but the thing is like she's been like 14 for like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So you're like,
it's because of the adrenochrome.
can I fight? I don't know what that is.
Well, this will never get views on Instagram now.
It's like I don't. But I get it's like I don't really follow. I don't know what I'm getting at.
I understand what you're saying. You
She's
didn't watch it.
She's incredibly talented, incredibly gorgeous, all those things. And I tried to watch an episode.
Couldn't get into it?
But I can't relate to
The drugs.
Well, I can't
other
relate to
stuff.
that, but I can't relate to a bunch of teenagers. Oh, my life is so horrible. Let's have a lot of sex. Let's do a lot of drugs. It's like what I wouldn't give, just to be real. Where's the key? what I wouldn't give to go back to high school and have no issues and have no responsibilities, and all I have to do is go to class and play football and maybe sing in the choir, maybe do show choir. I would love that. Caveat, I think social media is probably rotting out the brains of all kids these days.
Oh, 100%. Well, there's this expectation too, but hold on. I need to say this. This is important.
Euphoria. We're talking about acting.
Okay. The creative process. So when somebody says something doesn't work or something, oh, you can't do that, or there's this rule, and you can't make that color, if everything has to be cohesive, blah, 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 blah. I lose my mind because I agree to extent on the set, right? Mm-hmm. There's been times when I've been on set and my shooter has disagreed with me. And typically those disagreements are behind closed doors, but in certain aspects they're not. And they say, hey, this isn't going to work. And because I'm not really committed to the vision, perhaps it's like a music video, or say it's something that's not like my heart's in it. Not that my heart's not in it. I give my very best effort, but there's a difference between putting your heart into something and your effort.
Well,
but hold on, let me finish this because otherwise I'm just rambling. My problem is when they say that, and then I see shows like Euphoria, I see shows like Winning Time that have these crazy visuals that make no sense.
Right.
And they're getting all of the recognition and all of the acclaim because of how out of the box their thinking is. And I look back at over the years, the ADs, the cinematographers I've worked for, who have unbeknownst to them, just killed my creativity and my vision, unbeknownst to them, and actually set me back on craft in general.
Right.
And that's the problem. People aren't thinking of craft. They're thinking of, how do I get the day done? They're not thinking of the craft of how can we make something that no one's seen before. You know
that's
what I mean?
the thing. It's from a business owner and who's new to and that's what we talked about this a month ago about the whole the taking an entrepreneurial spirit into the media production side of things. Mm-hmm. That taking that non-approach, the new approach is I can't fathom not. So you have an idea, Mike has an idea. We're not shooting on film. We're shooting on digital.
Play.
Shoot both.
Yeah.
And then let's see what works in the edit. So in that situation where it's well, I have an idea. Well, that's not a good idea. It's it'll take 30 minutes to set up. It'll take 5 minutes to shoot. Let's just do it. What's the problem?
30 minutes to set up, 5 minutes to shoot, but it'll take years for the person who you said no to without trying to shake that thought of, oh, well, maybe I just don't have a creative idea.
But it could be like that one shoot we did a couple months ago where it's like a 20-minute discussion argument that basically just kills the creative mood of the shoot.
Kills the vibe.
Kills all
Will
vibe.
Smith slapping Chris Rock to suck the energy out of the room.
Or just okay, let's shoot that real quick, and then still shoot the thing that we wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
And I think the lesson there is still taking that yes and approach. We touched on the why factor earlier. Don't do why, but instead do yes and improv rules. But taking that to the shoots instead. It's so if somebody has an idea, as long as it's not completely ridiculous, just shoot it.
Yeah.
Mic it up, do a quick light. I mean, obviously for big budgets, you can't really do $1 million explosion every single time, but.
Well, and a part of that too, I mean, a lot of those ideas, it really depends on what kind of production you're working on. So a lot of the stuff that I do and a lot of the stuff that we do here and a lot
Your
of
beard looks really good.
Does it look good?
Yeah.
I'm growing it out and I feel because I'm getting a little gray in it. I can't wait.
You want the gray.
I cannot wait until I look like you. With the beard, with the gray.
Mike, order 3 pizzas.
With the gray. Stop. No, with the gray, I can't wait for that. I'm gonna be a silver fox. I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna die on that mountain, dude. I'll be up there at 40 with Steve Martin hair, and I'm just gonna be playing my banjo.
Steve Martin had gray hair at 19.
19. It was.
Anyway,
but the thing is, different productions call for different things, right? Most productions, they have a shot list, and with that shot list, it's all decided before. Everyone knows exactly what they're doing. They're just showing up to work, right? Sometimes productions are a little more, collaborative, where I'm always a big fan of collaboration, especially when everybody's like-minded, because then there's no disagreements like that, right? Or if there's one person who's kind of everyone sees this, all right, we're following his vision, but we're just going to add to it.
But it's also the size of the production.
Yeah.
Because if you have 50 people on set, and then you also have 50 people, gaffers and all those other ADs and DPs and all that, but then you also have 5 or 6 actors. Well, depending on the diva nature of those actors, they probably want to have input as well.
Oh man, and actors are the worst, especially. And
you have to limit who has the creative input.
What is your take on? And you may not, I don't know how much of this you've done. How do you like dealing with agencies as far as when it comes talent agencies and when it comes to casting and acting?
I don't really have that much experience, and by not much, I mean not at all. Other than like me trying to get an agent when I was younger or trying to do stuff when I was younger, to me it all seems absurd.
So I think it's nice having an agent. It's a cool thing because it's like somebody goes and does the work for you. They send you the things, right? That's all very cool. What I don't think is cool is when it's, hey, what's up? I'm from Oklahoma. I have taken 6 months of, classes at the junior college in acting, and I got me this big bad agent here in McKinney. I'm not going to name any names, but let's just say their name was something like Jim Lawson, except not that agency. That kind of agency, like those kind of agents where the agency they place so much value on their talent that they think and it's like, no, I've seen your reel, and I'm willing to give you this, and you're nobody, it could be anybody.
What you're talking about with Jim.
Yeah,
Jim.
Jim Lawson.
Yes.
Definitely not
some
other name that rhymes with
Dim Cawson.
Dim Cawson.
Not that. Not Dim Cawson.
Not that.
No, but the thing is, though, it's like when you're the only fish in the pond in the middle of the ocean versus because if you think about it, the first thing that anybody signed with Dim Cawson does when they go to LA is get an LA agent. Anybody that goes to New York is getting either a New York or an LA agent.
So nobody think about in how Dallas, Texas agents are. They're just like,
well, they're the stepping stone.
Yeah,
you're the stepping stone. So in a lot of ways, I would assume they're the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
So because if you're in Dallas, you're like, oh my God, you're signed with Dim Cawson. Oh my God, you're so legit. But the reality is, they're still in Dallas. If they were somebody pre-COVID, they would be in New York or LA.
Well, here's the thing: if they were somebody, they wouldn't be with Jim Lawson.
Yes.
I mean, it hurts, but I'm not working at Paramount. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think, have you seen the movie Tick Tick Boom?
I saw. Okay, so I have this problem. I fall asleep at like 11. Doesn't matter what's going on. I watched as much of it as I could, and I was amazingly.
So it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, he's really good. But what's really good about that movie? Well, all of it's really good. But there's his interactions with his agent in the movie. Like he's calling and calling and calling. Can never get his hold of his agent. Can never get his hold of his agent. This agent does not even know he exists. Well, then he had a show off or whatever it's called, a read through, and he did all the effort to get all the people to come to watch that could potentially either buy it or whatever. And the only reason the agent even knew about it is because everybody was calling her to find out more about this project that he did all the promo for. And then when she shows up at the reading, she doesn't even know who her own client is because she thinks it's some random dude.
That's the most annoying thing in the world, and I totally sympathize with that.
Right, but I'm bringing that up because I look at that and go, that's got to be how agents really are. They don't do anything unless you're the winning horse.
Okay, I had a person I hired, but they were a friend of mine. They were an actress. They were amazing. I hired them for this commercial. Did the commercial, and they killed. They absolutely killed. They did so well. The brand was happy. Everybody was happy. They wanted to do like 3 more commercials, and they wanted to give her X for being in those, right? So I told her about that, and then the agent killed the deal. The agent came in, called, deal was on the table, it was done. And it was going to net her about $15K, which if you're an actress, unless you're doing voiceovers for AT&T all the time, like that's money you need. That's good money for an acting job, especially here in regional Dallas with Jim Lawson, right? So Jim Lawson killed the crap out of that deal because their agent was like, no, we need this. And we're like, you're not entitled to that because you are nobody except for this, which we just did without you knowing.
So what's funny about that's similar to like current events with Elon Musk and Twitter. So, this has nothing to do with it, but in my brain it does. So Elon Musk, and I'm trying to get those keywords for Mike, So he's like, oh, thank you for talking about Q events.
Right.
It'll be good for the algorithms. Ukraine. Russia, no opinion, because if you give opinion, then it's bad.
No opinions.
But anyway, he wants to buy it, and by all accounts, all the shareholders should be ecstatic that they're getting almost double in return for the value of their stock. And the shareholders are like, no, we don't want that, so we're going to kill it. So same thing with this is that your actor friend, even if she's, what is it, 20%, 10% was the agent fee?
It was 20.
Okay, fine. 20%, agent gets their 3, she gets 12. That's a great day for her, or a couple days for her. But the agent's like, well, if they're going to pay 15, they'll pay more. They'll pay more. They'll pay more. And then from a producer standpoint, be like, I'll just go find somebody else.
I'll go find somebody else to do it for $100.
Yeah, I'll do it for I'll find somebody to do it for free.
Pretty faces are in no short supply,
right.
And that's something that
there's so many. Sorry to cut you off, but there's so many podcasts that I love watching on Twitter now, or not Twitter, TikTok, where it's like they're really shining the light on like the pretty Instagram, TikTok females. They're like, guys, this lasts for like 3 years, maybe 4,
100%,
and then you're done.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
The great thing is like, you always think that you are, in your mind, or in my mind anyway, when I was in high school and stuff like that, I was a musician, I was doing stuff. And it's kind of like, that's how I played. I did that. That's why it didn't work out for me. Just played like that the whole time. Okay. Don't have to celebrate it. So like, I thought I was really good. And I was
the hair was killing it.
The hair was flock of seagulls.
You got a wife out of it.
Got a wife out of it. I think I got what I needed to get out of it. But I thought I was really good. I thought I was so good, in fact, that I could probably do this professionally. And I did for a little bit at kind of a...
Which cruise line?
At a regional level. All right, I mean, we did national tours.
Nothing against cruise lines.
We did national tours, but it was on a smaller spectrum. You know what I mean?
Nobody saw that.
We played with
acting.
We played with Skillet. We played with other Christian rock bands.
There we go. Yep. Mike's like, I pushed the wrong camera. Anyway, I was doing this.
So,
sorry.
My whole point
it was
is,
valid. They needed to see this.
I thought I was really good till I ordered chicken wings from this dude at a bar in Nashville who then went up and sang open mic and was like one of the best singers I ever heard in the world. Right?
Yeah.
And then
you're hung up on Nashville today.
I am hung up on Nashville, and I'll tell you why. Because I was on Instagram earlier. I did this thing where I said, Del Taco, I miss you. This is like the ultimate fat guy thing to say. Del Taco, I miss you for no reason at 11 o'clock at night. Like, honestly, that's what my story is.
Never had
Del
it.
Taco.
Never had it.
Anyway, this girl wrote, and she was like, I totally sympathize. Same. I love Del Taco, and I'm in Tennessee. And in Tennessee, I don't know what happened. My voice said I betray you.
What accent is that?
Tennessee. I was in Tennessee.
No, it's Tennessee.
Tennessee. I was on Tennessee. Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. Yeah. They were on Tennessee.
On Tennessee. They're on Tennessee. With Jared Softy. No, but
I don't know who that is.
That's the Uncut Gems guy.
When that came out, I was like, I don't know who this person.
She was his muse.
Obviously, but I didn't know.
Uncut Gems.
I didn't understand the reference. I didn't know the person, and I don't know why. I didn't know anything about that, like the podcast person, the guest person.
I still don't know who the person is.
I don't.
But she had a weird dress at the Oscars that had like a.
Why was she at the Oscars?
I don't know, because she was his muse. She was Jared Caskey's muse for Uncut Gems.
Mike's yelling at us. He's like, he knows all the information.
Okay, so the Uncut. What did he say?
I don't know.
He's just back there like, I'm so sick of
He's
this.
like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
This is the worst.
He never puts it on like us.
He's
just like only Donovan camera.
He loves you, baby.
Can you hear me?
No.
I mean, now I can.
Because the mic thing's probably not on.
It's okay.
I'll turn it on. Go cut to Donovan. Cut to Donovan.
Anyway, what I was trying to say. What are you doing?
Basically, like it's like a communication thing.
Oh, it's a two-way, except everyone hears it.
But there's no. Where's the
check? So yeah, not to like poop on. I guess we can cut here and then we can come back, right? Yeah. Because I kind of want to talk about Kim Dawson for a second.
Okay.
And how much of a sconce she is. We can't put that in the podcast.
Hello.
I think we're mutual friends.
Who? Lon Dawson?
Jim Dawson and I have mutual friends. But yeah, their agent killed the deal. It was the dumbest thing ever.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Julia Fox.
Julia Fox. Thank you.
Okay, let's take that again in 3, 2. That's her name. That's
Julia
the girl.
Fox,
That's the
Julia
girl
Fox.
from the Uncut Gems. She's kind of.
First of all,
What?
Why is she a muse for anybody? That voice? I haven't seen her. Is she pretty?
Is she? Wait. Does she play Adam Sandler's handler in that? Like his girlfriend? Yeah. Oh, well, I get it. Have you seen it? You should see it.
I've heard like Pete
Davidson.
Wrong button.
Pete Davidson.
Oh, he's gonna make it so we can see it. Ooh.
Like he's pulling it up.
Ooh, he's gonna pull it up. He's gonna pull it up.
Is he pulling up the movie or is he just pulling up the
I
Uncut
don't know.
Gems?
YouTube.
You've seen the part where she says Uncut Gems.
Julia Fox pronunciation.
Let's look at a scene from Uncut Gems.
But
Julia
why is she
Fox.
on Jimmy
Oscars?
Jimmy Chemical?
Because Jimmy Kimmel was booked, and so they said, "Hey, can you come on Jimmy Chemical?" And she was like, "Yeah, I can do that." There's one.
Like she's scary looking. Okay.
Is she, though?
Yeah, okay, I get that. Like anybody in lingerie.
I wouldn't be afraid. I mean, I'd be afraid.
Go
my
to that
wife
picture
and
up
find out, am I
top.
right?
Like
Right.
like that middle one, that middle picture.
That's a
Like
dude.
that's scary.
That's Adam Sandler.
No, but the girl.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. But
That's a tangent.
my-
You were talking about the talent, before we went on this huge tangent.
Yeah.
Like you go to Nashville, super talented guy who's the bartender, sings better than you ever.
Yeah, it's a matter of luck, and the thing
Yeah.
is, it's not even a matter of luck. It's about marketability. It's about the look. It's about what they can sell. Like you could be the crappiest singer in the world and have a huge career just because you're interesting or bizarre. I mean, or weird.
Well,
like
take models.
Mm-hmm.
People think you're supposed to be super sexy to be. No, you have to be unique. DJ Qualls, is that his name? The most ugliest human being on the planet Earth. I don't know that for a fact, but he was technically he was a model, and then he got turned into an actor.
can you pull up DJ just so I can see it on the thing while you're talking about this?
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, do you know the girl? Like, I mean, like there are certain things.
DJ Q.
My wife says all the time. You know, there was this.
DJ QUA.
How do you even know this? Have you been sneaking off and going to raves?
No, like
Is he a dancer?
He's not a DJ. DJ Qualls, like
His name is DJ Qualls.
Yeah, move down. There you go.
DJ Qualls.
That dude.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and maybe not. He's not what you would say. He's not like the classic. He's not the classically handsome. Yeah. He's
Not like this.
not like us, right? But I get it. Is he married to that girl?
No, maybe.
Is he married to that girl?
Maybe.
Go down.
I don't think. No.
Are they married? What does it say? Is it his brother?
No. No, they're not married.
They're not married.
They're not siblings. This is not brother. It's not.
Man, they look like they could be. You know what I mean?
No, she did a.
She's funny. She did one with David Spade that made me laugh real
No,
hard.
her and I forgot the guy's name. He was in Community. He played the. Have you ever watched Community? You never saw Community.
No, couldn't get into it. I thought that guy did his best work when he was on The Soup. He's annoying.
Not Community. Parks and Rec. You all right there, buddy?
Okay.
Is it on the wide shot?
Yeah.
Good. That's a good thing.
He does that a lot.
All right. It's his move. It's
He
a trademark
likes
move.
He likes to pee. Just talk shit about Mike while he's gone,
Yeah.
because he'll never watch this.
I'm so sick of him.
Let's talk about. No.
I like Mike. Mike's a good dude. Speaking of I like Mike, I think I like
Turner?
Ike. Ike Turner. No, I like Ike.
Tina Turner.
No, okay? We were talking about creative shows, Euphoria, and Winning Time. What do you
Winning
think?
Time.
So I got you into the show.
Yeah, you got me into Winning Time. I didn't watch it at first, just because like I'm not. It's hard for me to get into dramatic stuff. Like I don't like overly dramatic stuff. So then when we were talking about it and it being like stylized, I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And I really enjoyed it. Or so far, I've really enjoyed it, just because I love, in going back to what you were talking about before, about taking chances and being creative. And I love the fact that they I would say at least 3 different types of camera equipment because they use like
Oh man, I know.
at least they have your standard your standard video, standard film rig that they use for all their shots
Right.
for 90% of the film or the show, and then they have the different segments where it's almost like an 80s videotape.
Yeah.
And then they have like
The de-interlace
almost
where
like
it's like-
16 millimeter footage, and those are just the three I could think
And then
off
they
the top of my
cut
head.
to
And then they
just
do
random
fast cuts.
They do really weird cuts to this random B-roll that makes no sense, or it kind of has something loosely to do.
We texted this over the weekend. My favorite though is when Magic Johnson, and this has nothing to do with the film side, but more just the creative storytelling, is every time Johnson's character is talking to Cookie or to his parents about being a good boy and being good, or
Shows
I'm
him
doing
doing
this
these terrible
then
things,
he's just like
railing.
I don't know if it's terrible.
I mean, it looks like he's doing a good job, whatever it is he's doing.
I mean, having an orgy sounds like a good time
Well,
until you
man,
get the bill.
ask Magic how that all worked out for him. Am I
You
right?
still kicking?
Yeah, but I imagine surviving that costs a lot, and I'm not just talking money. I'm sure that dude's.
Well, it killed his career.
Yeah, well, did it though? Because he's Magic Johnson.
No, I mean basketball wise.
Basketball.
He literally probably could have played.
Another 10 years.
Well, look at Tom Brady. He spelled. I mean, it was a different
he's kind of
sport.
an outlier. I mean, Michael Jordan would probably be the best,
But
'cause
not- but-
he played old, and then he came back, and
Well, he stopped playing in the middle of his career for baseball.
I
But
think that was because his
dad. I think it was his dad
He
thing.
had emotional. I think he had a kind of like a weird, like a.
He had an emotional situation. Is that what they called it?
Well, it's like almost like a crisis of.
What's the Will Smith thing?
Of who he is.
Is
like
it a situation? What's the word they used?
a situationship.
No.
Will Smith and Jada Pinkett relationship or relate.
No, what was the word they used? It was
arrangementship. Arrangementship.
No, it wasn't arrangement.
Because it's like a relationship, but also an
No,
arrangement.
she called it like because they instead of calling it cheating, instead of calling it stepping out.
It was. They had an arrangement. It's an arrangement. It's like they're
she
like
used a
swingers.
specific word.
Entanglement.
Entanglement.
I know what you're talking about.
Entanglement's the word. He had
He had an entanglement.
Magic Johnson had an emotional entanglement. No, that's not right. No, Jordan had an emotional entanglement.
Yeah.
That was a long-winded way to get to not a very.
No.
The
I'm glad
payoff
you
on
said
that
it.
was not
I'm glad
high.
you said it. Wow.
That
You're
was
right.
a-
He did have an amazing.
That was a long way to go to like this is not a hitting joke.
Like,
I'm going to be furious if this whole time it's just on you and not a group thing.
I think it's the wide shot for this really long pee that Mike is taking.
I know. Is it? Where's the camera?
I don't know
Why is
because
the-
it's on the thing of DJ Qualls, who, as I look at it more, I do start to agree with you. He is not an attractive man, and I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying he isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? Next time I could just get like a really long USB and just do it myself.
One of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with Winning Time, are you? You're not a basketball guy.
no.
Like you have zero interest in that aspect of it.
Just go ahead.
You can go ahead. It's fine. We've broken the fourth wall.
Yeah. That's Mike. That's Mike.
That's Mike.
I'm not a basketball guy, and then I found myself just all over Wikipediaing everything, like the different situations, like the bike thing, the coaches thing, the Jerry West thing, and it's like, oh, Jerry West is this huge iconic person.
I didn't know he was from West Virginia.
I didn't know any of these guys.
My dad's from
You know,
West Virginia.
but like, because I was born in '80, and I'm aware of Magic Johnson, but I'm more aware of him from the, oh, here's the superstar getting AIDS, but not really knowing what a superstar was. Now looking at it from a different lens and watching the show, and then actually getting on YouTube and watching clips, it's like, oh, Magic Johnson was like, it would be the equivalent of like Tom Brady, like getting AIDS.
yeah.
And back then there was no context for that. There was nothing to link that. But looking at it now, you're like, oh my God,
Yeah, I mean,
he's the biggest celebrity athlete.
I remember seeing
He's the biggest celebrity athlete of that era.
in the 80s, hands down.
and then he got
him
AIDS.
him and Bird. I
Yeah.
think so. What you'll see, like, I watched a document because of this. I have no interest in basketball.
Zero.
I used to have season tickets to the Mavs games just because it was an event where there was girls, and I
Yeah.
thought that was the thing. Like, I have zero interest in basketball.
Side tangent. Once scoot in, he needs you to scoot your chair.
All right, are we rolling? Just kidding.
Is there a record button?
Are we good to go?
Are we recording? Side tangent. Once we start actually growing this business,
Oh, yeah.
I do want to invest in.
It's a write-off.
Boxes.
Yeah, it's a write-off.
Like
it's
season
fun.
ticket, get a box for probably Mavs, because Mavs is either the Stars or the Mavs. Stars is probably the easiest one to get at first, and then the next is
Sorry. The struggle. I almost lost it when you said the
struggle.
earliest.
no, but I'm just saying is like because
Yeah.
Cowboys is going to be astronomically
You don't want to do
expensive,
that anyway. Nobody cares.
and the Mavericks is going to be expensive,
But it's cool.
But it's cool. But I think the Dallas Stars is going to be less expensive than the Mavericks.
I think you're going to get the same experience at the Stars,
Yeah.
but for way less money because they aren't.
It's hockey.
Yeah, it's
You know,
hockey.
it's hockey in Texas.
First off, can we talk about the fact that I have never even watched, seen, been to, cared about at all? Zero. I think hockey might be, if I had to list like order of dumbest, most pointless sports that I would never watch, not even if there was a fire, mind you, and they were like, hey, the only way to stop this fire is to watch hockey, I'd be like, let it burn. I'm sick of it. Can't do
So
it.
we're gonna have. I'm not a giant.
And I've never been.
Okay.
That's what everybody goes, oh,
Okay.
you've never been to the
Okay.
game. If you went to the game, you'd love it. Like,
I'm not a huge hockey. I like rugby and I like football,
okay.
but I could do without watching anything. I'm not a huge sports guy. I know I'm so athletic.
You are athletic. But
What
you should,
I'm gonna
what
say-
you should do you should pop the video of on here you holding the girl with one hand. More context.
I was
Who's
a
a cheerleader.
Yeah, I know people. We need to go to a hockey game, like the team. We'll do a team thing, but at the glass.
No, is that the way to do it?
Oh my God.
Is it fun? Is that just banging on the glass like a Neanderthal? Is that the best?
When I was like 12, it was great. I haven't done it since I was like
Because
12.
all I see on TV is people just going, hey, boom, 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 boom. Stop it! Like, what are they yelling about? What is
Speaking
it?
of yelling, we have neighbors. We're going to have somebody banging on the door.
Wow. They're going to have to walk up the stairs first. We'll hear them coming and we'll just pretend we're not here.
No, but it was, what were we talking about? No, but yeah, like you
hockey.
see hockey and the action being, you've never been that close to a professional thing, a professional sport. Because the reality is, if I'm at the glass, I'm sitting here, the glass is here,
And there's the guy.
right where you're standing, or
That's the
like
dude.
if you're watching where I'm standing, right where I'm sitting, this is a fight happening right in front of you. And you're like, I mean, that's like 3 feet.
I can see that as being
That's
fun.
exciting.
I think going to the hockey game would probably be more fun. Watching it on TV gives me a headache. I don't understand it.
Then I don't. Here's sports that I don't think should be on TV ever. Golf,
Yeah.
hockey,
Okay.
basketball.
March Madness. See, I like college basketball. I could watch March Madness.
Here's the thing:
Yeah.
when it comes to basketball, does anything matter except for the last 30 seconds of the game?
No. That's kind of that's
When
what what makes it
your whole game can be a TikTok.
That's why basketball or baseball is
Baseball,
a superior,
hell no.
It's a superior sport. It's a superior sport to all sports.
superior?
It's a superior sport to all sports, and I'll tell you why.
Please do.
Because anyone
Harper
can play.
Belmont Media
Here's the
talking
deal.
sports.
I don't have to go eat, fucking chicken and broccoli. Yeah, we're gonna have to bleep that one out. Sorry, I don't. We don't even have to. We're gonna have to put the thing over my face so they don't
Eggplant?
even know.
Eggplant.
Yeah,
Anyway.
one of those dudes. I love
Baseball.
that. Like so, baseball. Mo Vaughn, big dude. Literally no athletic ability. I think probably from looking at him. All he has to do, blah, home run. It is the game that separate. Look, football and soccer, basketball, all these games, they separate the fat from the fit.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball says, fuck you. We're putting fat and fit together. We're doing it all.
Who's got skill?
Anyone can play.
Who's got the skill?
Who's got this skill? Who can see? Who has hand-eye coordination? Eyebrows? Have you looked at videos or
Have I
pictures? Have you looked? If you take a time to look, if you look at old pictures
It was such a good joke right there.
of baseball players
Going
from the
back
80s.
to our meeting we had earlier about
Yeah.
what we shouldn't do, applying that to what we just happened. Mm-hmm. like stopping that thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, do you think
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know if you can.
Are we on that level?
We're on the same level. I just don't know if you can.
Mike, are we on that level?
I'm not certain you can actually pinpoint the accent. I mean, you could if you wanted to be really
Mike, you get it
that
right.
way
The Twizzlers
about
thing?
things.
The Twizzlers thing? Okay, he got it. Okay.
But that wasn't even the accent I was trying to do.
I know, but it came out.
I was trying to
Stop
do.
hating.
I was trying to do
Stop.
a different accent.
You were just trying to
That's
say
all I'm gonna say.
You're like, I was just trying to say, look.
Look,
Yeah.
but sometimes those W's sneak
So
up
anyway,
on you.
it's winning time.
That's
Going
right.
back to the media.
Winning time. This is what we're talking about. Winning
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Man,
The
Jep,
acting in it
I'm
is
sorry.
amazing. Jeff?
Jep,
Jep?
because he's gonna have to come through and cut all this to make it make sense.
No, he won't.
All right, we'll just put it up. Just throw it up. We'll do it live.
Exactly.
Jep.
No, Jep. Why are we talking about
I
Jep?
don't know. You always want to. You're like obsessed for
Jep
some
is
reason.
great. Jep is our one of our VA editor guys. He's amazing. He's great.
Winning time. The cast is
I pay
great.
him way too much.
Hyperrealism. Hyperrealism is insane.
What's winning time doing that other shows aren't, and what sets it apart?
Oh, look at him
Oh, a voice from the sky
over there.
asks a good question. Winning time, in my opinion, what it is doing that no other show has done is it's saying, screw your rules.
Yeah.
We're going to make whatever we want. It's going to be entertaining, and we're going to fill it with A-listers
Yes.
from the top to bottom.
So not only that is I think there's this and I've seen some headlines against like Disney right now. There's at least half the population is tired of the wokeness. And I think Winning Time, because it's a period piece, you know, and we're not talking about something from the 1800s. It's already a diverse cast. It's already a diverse, and they're real people. So it's not like you're gonna like, oh,
You're not inventing drama. You're just telling a story.
You're telling a story, but
Yeah.
you're not replacing like the owner with a female or Magic Johnson with like a white person or a white person with a black. You're telling the story. You're the characters there, and you're leaving the wokeness at the door. And because I think a lot of people, and by wokeness, I mean, I think everybody should live together and be in harmony and all lovey-dovey, but when it's force-fed people's down throats.
to try to make it seem away. Well, here's what I'll
Going
say.
back to the Eternals, like, But
I mean, for me, I
just thought it was, it was refreshing. Sorry to interrupt. It was refreshing to see something that could have been like a story from like 20 years ago. Not a story, but like filmed 20 years ago.
I think.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think like for me, it is shining a light too on there was a big problem in basketball. The big problem in basketball was basketball sucked because it was a bunch of dopey ass white dudes trying to be good, and there was
It's not a racial thing.
It's, well,
it's
hold
a
on.
fundamental
It was
thing.
it was a fundamental thing, but it became a race thing because the coaches
Right.
weren't putting out the players that were good because
But even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's character
yeah.
representation,
Yeah.
not necessarily the actual happened, but in the series, he was saying that it was street ball.
yeah. He didn't think it. He also saw it as like a low, like not
Lower
It's not
form.
professional, but
It is beneath him.
But then when Showtime, this
Yeah.
group of Lakers is,
Yeah.
I mean, how brilliant Jerry! I had no idea that Jerry Buss was like, okay, so let's put the stars on the floor. He was the inventor of floor seats.
Yeah.
Floor seats didn't exist before then.
Right.
That blows my mind. Like,
Well,
in my mind,
dancers-
because in my mind, like I would be like, if I was at a basketball game, I'd be like, I want to sit down there. I mean, just the thought of him
Well, and then,
pioneering that.
well, and then also the scene where it's like you have, and this is very, very like nichey, but like where the general manager, the security guy was, I'll run off the scalper, and she's like, no, here, hand him these, and I'll send him more I'll bonus him if it's full or something like that, because we want a full house versus a paid full house. Obviously, you'd rather it be paid, but you want it full first. Also, what was crazy to me was like the Forum Club was the Studio 54 of the West Coast.
No idea.
No idea.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, what's really funny because I again know nothing about basketball.
Nothing.
I
Or the
thought
Lakers or
Forum
that
Club
era.
was a separate thing from.
It's in a stadium.
Yeah, I had no idea that it was in the Forum.
Like you go to like American Airlines Center or any of these stadiums that have restaurants and have like bars in them. You're like, oh, that's a really good idea.
yeah, Jerry Buss had it 30 years ago.
40.
40. Yeah.
You know?
What's crazy to me about Winning Time is it does shed some light on the fact that basketball was just not cool
Right.
until the
Right.
Lakers made it cool. But it also, you know, it really was specific to the Lakers and that style of play because as we're learning now in the show, I think we're 7 episodes in.
think so,
So
yeah.
like Larry Bird is now coming into the show as a recurring character.
Right.
Well, in the 80s, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson had this great rivalry. He played for
Yeah.
the Celtics. He played for the Lakers. The Celtics were kind of seen as, you know, and this is not the case now probably, but Boston was seen as like the place where the Lakers did not want to go because they were just racist. And
Well,
mean.
I saw, and then again, this goes back to the power of the video, the power of the content. Like if you make it interesting enough, it makes people want to research more, and makes it a Wikipedia wormhole or whatever, rabbit hole. But like I saw one YouTube video where Jerry West is like, because somebody asked him, "Do you ever go to Boston?" He's like, "No."
I hate that place.
No, and this is like from like 2 or 3 years ago. He's like, "No, I don't go to Boston," because if he goes there, he might get beat up. He might get
The
killed.
rivalry is so, yeah.
Yeah, and this thing is, I think in this era of you know the after the 2000s, you know, rivalries don't really. It's not really that big a deal. But like for those people,
It's a big deal.
you know, like the Boston Celtics, like again, I didn't know. I knew they were good back in the day. But if you go on and look at the national NBA championship, which again I'm not necessarily a fan of, or have ever had context to even look at their history, it's like Lakers, Celtics, Pacers, Lakers, Celtics, some other team. Da 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 da.
I'm gonna hit
Back
you,
and forth,
I'm gonna
yeah.
hit you with a crazy thought. Okay, this is real nuts. But let me just drop this on you.
Freeze dried
So,
mac and cheese.
You didn't know about Magic Johnson, right?
Well, I knew him. I just
But you
I
didn't-
wasn't.
but you
I
weren't
wa-
thinking-
in the context of Tom
In
Brady.
your mind, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, right?
Magic or Michael Jordan.
30 other dudes,
30 other dudes.
Magic Johnson.
Dude with AIDS.
Yeah, right. Dude with AIDS.
That I mean, and I'm know I'm being
that's-
comical,
well,
but that's
my-
literally what it was.
Well, that's my whole thing. Is so, I had no idea that Magic Johnson was that good, and you know why we had no idea? It's not because he wasn't playing. He came back and played even after his diagnosis.
Yeah.
It's because you're talking
stigma.
about woke nature, right? The media, the mass media,
Blackballed.
everybody was like, "No, that guy's done."
He's dead.
So when I think of Larry Bird, I don't think of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. I think of the commercials of Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, where they're doing the nothing but net or whatever. You know what I mean?
I don't remember it,
Like
yeah.
I think of Larry Bird being popular with Michael Jordan, but Larry Bird was like on his last legs when Michael Jordan was
Right.
coming into his own. Larry Bird was done. He was cool in the 80s when Magic was cool.
Yeah.
But they want to erase that because at the time the stigma of AIDS
Yeah.
was such that they couldn't have America's hero be a guy that has AIDS.
Well, because the thing is, though, it's before Magic Johnson, before Eazy-E, AIDS was a gay thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a drug thing. It wasn't a sex thing. It was a gay thing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if
that's
you-
how that's how it was portrayed to everyone. Yeah.
obviously, yeah. I mean, other people. We all know that it's not just you're only getting this because you're gay. No. And but again, no one. Have you seen Philadelphia?
Oh yeah, it breaks my heart.
It's an amazing film, and it's so like the scene where Tom Hanks first meets Denzel Washington, where it's like he shakes hand and he's like, "Oh, I have AIDS," and he's like, and brilliant acting by Denzel Washington, where he like the whole scene he's just looking for how do I wash my hand,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like the subtleties of that acting is brilliant, and that just
What's weird as a child, I remember watching the press conference of Magic. And
I
because
don't know.
I do because it was a big deal. It was a weird.
It's huge.
It's weird the things you remember. So like I remember my parents.
Have you rewatched that since watching Winning Time?
No, I'm waiting.
I watched it that
Does it
press
hold up?
conference.
Is it the same?
Well, it just shows how graceful he was.
How kind.
Well, just like here in this situation is the most devastating news of your entire life.
Yeah.
And he's getting on a platform and, you know, and just speaking so eloquently. And like whoever wrote that speech should be given all the kudos.
Well, Magic Johnson.
Or if it was from the heart or whatever.
They say that, and my father-in-law's met him, I believe. And I know a few people that have met players and those kind of people that are, but Magic Johnson is one of those dudes that he's got that, like, and it doesn't matter who you voted for. Just get over it. Ellen likes George W. Bush. Like he's got that ability, like George W. Bush, to make you feel like, like a politician almost. Like you are important.
Yeah.
He knows me. We
Yeah.
have a relationship.
Well,
We're friends.
Yeah.
You know,
What's funny about that? I know what you're getting to. I've met Governor Abbott twice now, and both times you're like, oh, I get it.
it's a politician thing.
It's a politician thing.
Yeah.
Like, because some of Abbott's policies, I'm like, I'm not a fan of. I think it's a little like let's just stick to governance. Let's not get into the craziness.
all that stuff. Yeah.
We don't need to list it, but I mean, there could be a long
There's a
list.
list, yeah.
There's a list. But because like if you go to a random female, what do you think? What do you think of Governor Abbott?
Yeah.
But when you meet him, you're like, oh my God, I'd vote for you for president. You're amazing.
You're the best. I
You're
get
the best.
it. I don't care what they all say.
Because he's so charming. Anyway,
And on the flip,
I'm getting that to
it's
go
the
back
same,
to my Magic Johnson.
and it's all very equal. We're not just
This
on
podcast
on
we
that
call
guy.
the Rambling Podcast.
Well, we're talking a lot about a lot of things, but that's because
lot
we're
of
figuring
sex.
it out. On the opposite end of that spectrum, I've met Beto O'Rourke, who I think personally, it is what it is. I don't think if I was in charge of his branding, let's put it this way. If I was in charge of Beto's whole situation, I would be like, it was Senate he ran for first.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You ran for Senate and you almost won. That's real great. Let's take a couple years away.
Yes.
And then let's come back.
Have we talked about this?
Perhaps maybe not the very next year run for president. Maybe.
It wasn't even the next year. It was the same.
It's the same
cycle.
political cycle.
I don't know.
So he ran for Senate, lost. Ran for president, lost. He's going to run for governor. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert, he's going to lose. I just think it's going to happen. Primarily red state.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Because here's the thing is, when he ran for Senate and almost beat
Ted Cruz.
Lion
Ted. I know. I couldn't believe it. I call him that.
he too is
one of those guys.
One of those guys. You're like, I really like you. There's a star power there.
Yeah.
And again, all these people, meet him one-on-one in a non-confrontational
Meet
setting.
any of those dudes one-on-one.
Biden.
I
You'd be like,
challenge
oh,
the
no, the
biggest
president.
atheist ever. Like
Meet the Pope.
Go meet the Pope and tell me that you aren't like
Inspired.
Yeah, or
Or any of these, sleepy Joe Biden. It's like, I guarantee you, if you met Joe Biden in a non-confrontational protest setting,
Greatest guy on earth.
you'd be like, oh my God, I met the
sweetest
president.
grandpa
I met
ever.
the president of the United States.
That's the thing. I can never understand people, because look, I'm from Texas. I'm from a very, growing up, it was a very fundamental Christian church, right?
Yeah.
So and not to say that only Christians are Republicans, but we were like extremely conservative.
You're the only ones going to heaven.
Well, I came from a very conservative family, right? So like,
it shows.
yeah, very conservative. My
flash your tattoo.
My tattoo has a Bible verse on it. It shows how edgy I am in the name of Jesus. So, very conservative.
Bless your heart.
Having said that, I would be stoked to have dinner with Barack Obama.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'd be stoked to have dinner with
Trump.
Bill Clinton. I think we'd have a heck of a time. Like, as far as a person, maybe not Bill Clinton. That whole Haiti thing's a little sketch, and everybody that knows him ends up with like a
You go to an
accidental
island,
hanging themselves,
You go
or
to an island,
shooting themselves.
and now there's a videotape.
That's the thing. There is no videotape.
So-
So I really wish
so
that
there's a
if there
couple-
was videotapes, they'd start popping up. Because
Yeah.
it would really bring closure to a lot of these wild theories I
Here it
have.
is, just full. So going back, there's a couple of things there, like Beto O'Rourke,
Beto.
whatever.
Robert O'Rourke is actually his name.
care.
His
It
name is
doesn't matter.
Robert
Here the thing is,
O'Rourke.
he lost all credibility
Yeah.
when he ran for president.
Yeah.
Because he got so much fame in Texas for and obviously nationwide for almost beating Ted Cruz. And then when he ran for president, they're like, "Oh, it's white Barack Obama. Yay. He's youthful, he's well-spoken, blah 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 blah
He's
blah."
the only dude that's not, 60.
Whatever. And then that fell on his face, and now he's going back. So I think he showed his true colors in the sense that, and again, I don't really know much about him other than the fact that you ran for something, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go for this other thing that's better. Screw you, Texas.
Right.
So I think Texas is going to be like,
I kind of think so. I
what
mean,
the
that's
shit,
kind
man?
yeah. It's like, hey, you were going to be our senator, now you're going to go be president, but now you want to be governor. Like, what? You just want to be in charge.
You just want limelight.
You just want limelight.
Yeah.
You're like a Kennedy. You don't really want to do anything. You just
Yeah,
want to
but-
look really pretty not doing it.
Kennedy's win.
Well, I have jokes. Do they? Do they win? I don't have jokes. I would never joke at somebody's expense. I would say that if I had to list,
Still talking about him.
if you had to list the the most unfortunate, unlucky. Because on some sides, some sides would say, some people would say, the Kennedys are the luckiest family on earth, right?
Nope.
I would probably be of the mindset that they might be the unluckiest family on earth.
Well-
because prior to JFK, blown away, what else do I have to say? Vibes here in Dallas. Before that happened, the real star of the Kennedy clan group was the guy who died in the war. Like Joe Kennedy Jr., Joe's kid was going to be the president. And then he went, that was the plan. And then he died, and then it became Jack.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, talk about
Robert,
that,
yeah.
Robert. And then the other dude, one of them hit a tree did a Sonny Bono, and then the other one crashed his plane.
And another one killed his girlfriend.
And lied about it, and somehow stayed in the
Senate forever.
Yeah.
And died horribly from cancer or something. I don't know.
Well,
Win some, we
we
lose
lose
some.
some.
So the thing about the Kennedys, because we're experts.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We are
the media side of the
what
Kennedys.
you would say.
Everything
When it comes to the Kennedys.
Everything. This is the Everything podcast from Herbie Belmont. No, you pre all the shit. Bleep it.
That's fine.
Pre all that.
Yeah. We cuss. Shit. Damn. Cock. Balls.
Beep, 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 beep.
Just a bunch of beeps.
Dude, I wonder if you cuss in a Morse code.
Would people know
Flare?
that I'm actually repenting? Can I cuss in Morse code so that all the fundamental Christians watching this will know that I'm repenting?
Lock it up. I
All
have
right,
a point.
Sorry.
What?
I'm so sick of Mike telling me what to do. I'm so sick of this
Well,
shit.
it's
I
a
know. I keep
microphone.
falling back. I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of the mic, if we have to be honest.
Maybe that's why he didn't succeed in Hollywood.
It's just because I have so much to say. Okay, so tell me, I'm
painful. So painful being such a star. No, but the Kennedys were like royal. They were equivalent of the royal family in the United States. And then it's like it's just like true to form of the United States. We're like, we don't like them royals, and we just took them out.
You think that's what it was?
No, I think it was unlucky.
I tell you what was very unlucky. I think it's extremely unlucky that Lee Harvey Oswald just so happened. I think there's a lot of very unlucky situations.
I know you're going to go down
I'm not going down a conspiracy hole.
I'm going to end the conspiracy theory
All right, fine.
tunnel right there because
Yeah.
if you go, because we live in Dallas.
Have you seen Watchmen? That's all I'm going to say. Have you seen Watchmen?
I have.
Okay, well, it was the comedian. That's who killed Kennedy.
If we go down to Dealey Plaza and we go up to the 6th floor of the I used to say book suppository building.
I used to say that too. It's the book depository or something. I don't even know what that is. What is that? Is it like a library?
No, it's like where they make books and ship books and
Wait,
library.
that's where they make the books?
I think so.
Well, it's like a whole museum now. Did they still
It's
make
a museum
books?
now. Yeah, it's a museum.
Did they stop making books, or you think they just changed locations?
I think
I
all
should let you
books are made in
finish.
China
I'll let you go.
and not United States. No, but if you go down there, you go to the 6th floor, and you go to the window where he shot from, you're like, oh, I can make that shot. It's not as far. Like if you watch JFK with the movie with Oliver Stone,
Back and to the left, all that stuff.
back to the left, back to the left.
Yeah.
It seems like it was an impossible
Like a
shot.
mile away.
But if you've ever shot a rifle and you go up there and you're like, oh, I can make that shot.
See, I still, in my mind,
Marines teach good rifleman skills.
yeah, but open sights. Also, you're killing the president. I feel like there's got to be. Even though, look, let's just say you got your gun, you got the sights, you have it lined up, you're ready to go.
Pew pew.
Right before you do that, I have to imagine there's a fleeting thought that goes, I'm about to kill the president. Like,
Well,
here's
the thing is,
kapow, I just don't think it's within us as human. And maybe it's because it's just not within me as a human being. I cannot comprehend taking the life of somebody.
What they say
Yeah.
is the better shot would have been when he was on Main Street. So maybe he did think about it for a minute.
That is true.
When he was coming down Main Street, he's like, oh, should I do this? Should I do this? Oh, I'm going to miss my window. I better do it now.
Missed my window. Okay. Never mind.
He didn't have any windows.
Because it was a window. No, he
there was
shot
no
him from a
roof.
window.
Oh, he shot him from a
Yeah, he's
window.
going to miss his window.
Anyway, so
Stop it. No one's...
going back to winning time.
He's been dead a long... Billy Joel made a song about it. It was okay.
What was his song?
JFK, blown away. What else do I have to say? We didn't
That was
start
one
the fight.
line.
It's the only part of that song that anybody knows, though. Ask anybody.
Literally,
we didn't start the fire. What note do you know? And they're gonna be
Literally,
like, JFK.
It's like 4 minutes of him just rambling and shouting random things they read out of a
cheesecake, peanut butter, chocolate
from like
cake,
a newspaper. He's just
cheese.
like
Lots of cheese in there.
And your takeaway is that song's about JFK.
It's all about JFK. It's chaos.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
What's your favorite tragedy?
Favorite tragedy. So I think it's a real sconch of a deal what happened to old Achilles. I think.
Take it way back.
Yeah, well, you said
Okay,
I'm
what about
thinking
your
of Homer
favorite?
and the Odyssey. And
I was
shit.
thinking more of like less like more modern
like
times.
a tragic event that's
like
occurred?
a tragic event, not like a tragedy play.
Okay, my favorite tragedy to just be a troll about.
Sure.
So I thought. I mean, that's a really tough question because I can think of.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first and let me kind of think.
So I've met Buddy Holly's wife.
Don't say that's your favorite. The day the music died is your favorite tragedy?
I get it.
Oh my God, who are we going to show this to?
I think
Like,
Buddy
we
Holly
can't
was
show
like,
this to anyone. I was worried about the cuss words, but now, God. Okay, so we're dark. All right, dark. That kind of tragedy. Why? Why? That I have followed. Why is that your favorite tragedy?
Because La Bamba is not that good of a song.
Okay, you just pissed off a bunch of white people because many Hispanic
Holly.
people would totally agree.
What?
Wait.
La Bamba.
Buddy Holly wasn't La Bamba. La Bamba was Richie.
Who also died. The whole point of who the music died
He
was
died
you had,
on the plane too. So
you
Big
had the
Bopper.
Big Bopper, Richie
Richie
Valens,
Valens.
and Buddy Holly, and then some random pilot that never.
And then who wasn't there a story though? It was a guy, and he said, "Hey, I wouldn't rather not be on that plane, or I hope your plane doesn't crash, or something like."
Yeah. Oh, he's a famous country music star, Merle Haggard. His last words to his best friend, Buddy Holly, was, "I hope your plane crashes." That literally, that's it. And you know, forevermore, he had a drinking and drug problem because he could never get over it.
Oh, that's awful.
Can you imagine saying that in a joke? Because
I can't imagine saying that, but I can't imagine lying about saying that, so I could use it as a crutch for my drinking and drug problem. I mean, was anybody there? Anybody hear him say it? That's not a bad. So I'm the bad guy for saying that.
so to further context,
yeah.
the context is the bus that they had, the heater on the bus went out.
Went round and round.
The heater on the bus was out.
Okay.
And they had to go to an overnight to their next location. So be on the bus with no heater for hours on end, or get on the plane with a heater and get there like soon.
2 hours, yeah.
Well, Richie Valens took Merle Haggard's seat because Richie Valens had like a cold or something. So he was supposed to be on the plane. And then he got kicked off. And then Buddy Holly's last words to I believe were, "Have fun on the bus." And his last words were, "I hope you die on the plane."
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Something like that.
I know that we got
was
on this
there.
topic by saying, what's your favorite
Favorite tragedy, yeah.
I think using favorite and tragedy is kind of like,
Obviously, this is a joke. Nobody
Yeah.
wishes anybody's...
not a real. It's not. I think most interesting tragedy or most like devastating. Just what? Okay, because
You can bring it back. Bring it back to basketball. Kobe Bryant's helicopter job.
Oh God, that was the worst.
And again, like I was never like a big
I was a
basketball
basketball
Kobe
fan, but
guy.
man, I was heartbroken when he died.
I wasn't because I didn't care. But and I'm not trying to be funny, but
you just didn't know.
I just
You
don't.
didn't care.
I don't. It's like if some random person dying in Detroit. Okay, that sucks.
I think for me as a father,
how
it was
many
just
people
the
dying
kid-
in Ukraine? I don't care. It's like I care, but I don't. It has no impact. But then after watching Winning Time, going through that thing, I've watched like half of the memorial service now. For Kobe.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, oh, I'm watching
know
all
all
this
these dudes.
magic.
Yeah.
Now, because now there's context to all the story. Sorry to cut you off.
That makes sense. That makes
I'm
sense.
bringing it back to Winning Time. and the
I mean,
Lakers.
well, to go back to, I want to head back to Richie Valens for a second because
Yeah.
I wanted to pose a question. So, like, I don't know the metrics on what Richie Valens, Buddy Holly. I know the Big Bopper had that song about what was it? I like the way she walks and she giggles, then she walks and make the world go round and round. You know, nothing in the world like a brown-eyed girl to make you.
Yeah.
So like Big Bopper, Buddy Holly was famous for doing that one song.
That's Buddy Holly, but Rich Valens was O'Donna
and La
La
Bamba.
Bamba.
And then Buddy Holly had
All of them.
all of them.
He has so many.
So what do you think? I mean, you can't equate life and the value of life, right? But would you, like for me, the closest thing that I've seen to that, because that sounds awful. I can't imagine being a teenager and loving those art. I mean, that would be like that would be the worst thing.
I think that's Kobe. That's the Kobe level. Yeah.
What about Selena Quintanilla?
Oh, yeah.
Is it just for Texas, you think?
No, I think all Hispanics, especially Hispanic women, Latino women.
Because
anytime I ever joke about that,
that is the worst. Selena, that's
what kills me. What gets me the most about that story is like when you go down that, because I recently looked up because I watched the show Marry Me like 17 times and Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, and I was like, oh, so now I got a J-Lo, and then I was like, Selena. I didn't watch the movie, but then I was like, oh, let me look at this. The girl was like 22, 23 when she was murdered.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh my God,
all that.
Yeah, that's like Mike. If we kill Mike, it's like, how much life could he have had? You know,
well, we'll never know because we're about to kill his ass. Apparently,
it's like
sorry,
Selena, her president of her fan club, offed her. It's just so tragic.
See, this is the thing. Can I just be really, really transparent with you? There's something about, and I think it's like, you know, I like to joke around about everything. I do.
You have to,
because you have.
It's how people cope.
It's how people cope. But there is something about, as I'm getting older, I gotta tell you, there's something about death and just wrong. Like, okay, we were driving to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
We're driving. I'm about to take a left. There's a car coming this way. It's under the highway. Now, I was 100% committed to taking this left because in my mind, this person had to we were going to do this and pass each other. But they actually had to go under. And if I had taken a left, they would have plowed right through. Killed Allie, killed the kids, probably. It was a disaster. I mean, we narrowly missed a massive wreck. Because Allie screamed like, blah, 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 you know, Daddy, whatever, and I stopped. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm the guy who feels like I got to figure it out. Those guys, everybody else dies. I'm not going to die. I'm the main character. But then something like that takes you out, and you're just like, gosh, that's it.
Did you ever watch Band of Brothers?
I started to. Everyone says it's the best. I know.
Band of Brothers is basically Braveheart. You have to watch it.
Well, everyone says it's like Private Ryan except better. Which is hard to.
So good. It's so good.
Private Ryan's hard to watch.
There's a line in it, and I forgot the character's name, or the actor's name. I never knew the actor's name.
Jimmy Fallon in it?
For like half a second, like a cameo.
Well, we know what happens to his character. Am I right? That's all right. Okay, go ahead.
No, but there's a part in it where one of the guys is like, look, you just have to. He's talking to Private Bly, whatever the episode that Private Bly is like. You just have to get over the fact that you're already dead. Stop having hope that you're going home. You're not. You're dead. And then once you can acknowledge that, then this war will be a lot easier on you. Something paraphrasing, obviously.
I mean, I can't imagine that. You know, I mean, there's something about that kind of brave. And I don't know if it's bravery or insanity or both.
I think it's the acknowledgement. Obviously, this is some writer in writing it down.
Of course. Right, but just the mindset.
Yeah, the mindset. But I think it's the mindset or the example of you take D-Day. Like Saving Private Ryan, everybody says the D-Day scene is like the most accurate to war ever been on cinema. Bringing it back to cinema and film is like you have three guys and literally two of them their head gets blown off, the other one gets no scratch, and it's literally a luck game. It's
life in general.
It's just life.
Do you ever think that sometimes we are just in a simulation? Have you ever seen your neighbors bring their groceries in? Have you ever seen that?
I don't. I think we live in a different era. Like, because back in the day, you had nothing to do, so you sit on your porch and you hang out with your neighbors and yell at them. Yeah. Nowadays, everybody gets their own shit going on. They never go outside. I don't even know my neighbors.
Well, as always, this is my favorite time of the week. When we
get dark and get light.
Get ramble and get dark.
Well, before we exit, we were rambling on something and we didn't finish the concept. We couldn't finish it.
I started talking about death. Oh, well, we were talking about tragedies and all that stuff.
Tragedies,
and Selena.
What's the most devastating tragedy? Can you get that soundbite out of you, Ryan? I don't think they would.
What's the most devastating soundbite?
Do you need one for me too? Because I don't think I've really said one, have I?
Well, no, just say. I need the question from Ryan. What's
Yeah.
your most?
What do you think is the most devastating tragedy?
What do you think is the most devastating tragic event in like the last 30, 50 years, 60, 70 years? Since World War II. I think Hitler was pretty bad.
That is a bad one. That guy.
I mean, as far as bars of tragedy.
Set the bar pretty, like, I think I'd have to, so I can't speak on things that have happened, obviously, before I was alive, you know.
Why not?
I guess I could, but
Yeah.
I think for me, because, and that's kind of subjective, right? This is the whole thing. It's a subjective question. For me, I think something that I view and have always viewed as very tragic, I thought it was terrible when they decided to make Super Mario Brothers the live action movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. Because in my mind,
I so wish you would have gone serious with something,
I-
and then I was just going to hit you back with.
well, I thought one of us was, I didn't know who was going to go to serious or dark, so I was like, well, I got to lighten the mood.
Yeah,
here.
well, I was gonna whatever you said.
You were going to.
I was gonna trump with saying, "Oh, so that's worse than 9/11." Oh, so you think that's worse? So all those people that died on the tragic that,
Stop
and then
saying
that
that.
turned
Would be
into a
like-
20-year war in Afghanistan and Iraq. All those people, millions of people. That's
really that worse? Cool about that, but I'm just saying.
Super Mario.
What about all these other people? Really left them out to die, but
So,
you can't because they're already dead.
So I cut you off on Super Mario.
Yeah, let me
Live
start. Let's
action,
start it.
Bob
Let's do it again.
Haskins.
Let's do it again. Because we have
No.
to take that. Do we have to take that again, Mike? Is there a clean cut?
No,
there?
there's no do it again. We'll just add to it.
Super Mario Bros.
Okay. For me, I have to speak just on what I know, and I think the greatest tragedy that I've had to witness is when they cast Bob Hoskins,
Yeah.
and John Leguizamo in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Wow, it's tragic.
Because it's Bob
he's like
being Mario.
Irish. He's
John
like
Leguizamo isn't even Italian.
neither's Bob.
That's let me make sure I hit the mic. That's Hollywood and its greatest. It's like, hey, two Italians, I got it. English guy and Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Boom. Done. Set.
Yeah, and
Match.
that was like in the Who Framed Roger Rabbit era.
When he was at an all-time high. As far as
all time.
it's Bob Hoskins. I don't know how he's kind of like the poor man's Danny DeVito. Am I right?
Danny DeVito is the poor man's Danny DeVito.
Did you ever see The Bear? Jack the Bear.
No.
It's a weird ass movie where Danny DeVito directs. He plays a single father.
I think the best career movie, it might be the wrong words.
Always Sunny.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, literally solidified his career.
100%.
Because otherwise, like, okay, you did Twins.
You did Twins
with
and you
Arnold.
and you were the weirdest, grossest incarnation of the penguin ever.
Yeah, and after that, it's like you have no career if it wasn't for Always Famous, whatever that show's called.
You're right. Because he really didn't do anything.
No. I was in Taxi. Well, he never said. He was. You're so
Taxi.
brilliant in Taxi.
I love Taxi.
You're so Taxi. Oh, you mean from like 80 years ago?
Look at the cast of Taxi and tell me who else came out on top besides the guy from Back to the Future.
Oh, that's on you, bro. You're so far apart. You keep moving away.
Can you tell me move again?
Yeah.
Is that the way it is the whole time?
Move your seat in.
I can't hear you, Mike.
Yeah.
You get good like that, and then you
Yeah.
slowly.
Yeah. Good thing we're doing that now, not at the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop moving backwards.
Okay. I'm going to keep my elbow here. That keeps me
winning
here.
time.
Start over. Welcome to the Harper Belmont podcast. Shit.
Take me to the top.
I'd rather kill myself than do that, guys. I'm just going to be honest. If we have to start over right now,
We shouldn't joke.
Don't even put
We shouldn't
that on
joke.
there.
We shouldn't joke.
we can't. That really can't be on there, actually, because
Okay.
there's people that do that. So
Actually. So this is the conversations I have with Tyler last night. Do you know the rate of that thing that we don't need to use that word because it's a triggering word.
Especially for the algorithm.
It's higher than ever right now.
is it?
Yes.
That's devastating. But I understand.
But do you?
Yeah.
So, but it's
I don't know the number, but I understand why.
It's super high, and it's not because of the C word.
Really?
It's because of the
other C word?
The D. What's the other C word? So the DEA and the FDA, they've super regulated, mainly the DEA. They super regulated like pain pills and like hydrocodone and all that stuff. So you have all these people on pain
that are hurting,
and they can't get and doctors won't prescribe. Like Tyler had like a major dental surgery like the other day, and they gave him 7 days worth of painkillers, which it's going to be like that for like a month. So you have all these people who are chronically in pain. They're going to find a way out, and usually it's fentanyl and heroin and all that other stuff. And and they accidentally go too far.
You ever do shrooms or anything?
No, I'm a good boy.
Oh,
I'm not a degenerate.
I've done shrooms. Let me tell you something.
Clearly.
Well, I've only done shrooms twice. 3 times, if I'm being honest. 5, but it was a period of my life that I don't like to. No, it was. I was in Lubbock, and there was nothing to do.
Increased 30% between 2000 and 2022 or 2020.
The use of shrooms?
No.
The other
word.
The other S word?
Yeah, from 10.4 people to 13.5 people.
That's devastating.
It's horrible.
See, and that's the kind of thing, like, so that particular thing affected my family in a roundabout way. Now my married family, my in-laws.
Highest rate in more than 30 years.
Those kind of things, I had somebody, one time, things where I was complaining about my life. I wasn't anywhere near that, right? But I was very upset. And I had a friend, his name was Jono. And he's this Australian guy, so everything he said sounded extremely cool. Like
Did you steal your accent from him?
No, but I did steal a couple jobs from him because he couldn't go, and I went.
Okay.
And presented myself as him.
Yeah.
But he said, "Oh, you don't want to do that, man. It's permanent." And that's about as simple as it gets. You don't want to do that. It's permanent. Why would you do that? That's the end. It's all of it.
You know what's great about that? It's so simple and so true, and you're like, oh, duh, it's permanent. It's kind of like the advice I get when I'm like, I met with my my business partner. He's like, he's stressed out about stupid stuff, about finances, about staff, about whatever, and he's just like, yeah, all you gotta do is address it, and move on.
Yeah.
But I think as humans, we want to dwell.
Yeah.
We want to, wallow in our misery or whatever, and the successful people are the ones that can pick up and move on. And and I come up with simple stuff like, it's permanent. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't
do that. It's permanent. Yeah, I get that. I mean, but again, all that, just death in general. Like, I hate it. I think it's
Hot take.
I hate death sucks. Hot take. Death sucks.
Misery and loss is no good.
But no, I mean, like, I think back to a few weeks ago. I mean, or it was probably about 2 months ago now. I mean, I had a moment where I thought we were going to lose my dad, and I thought that was it. And I thought, man, that was, if you ever want to sit there and go, are we in a simulation? Man, I hope so. I hope we're in a simulation, and this is a crappy part of a simulation. None of this is real, because I could not imagine what my life would be like without my dad. I could not imagine what that would be like to not be able to talk to him or to be able to see him or hear him talk. It just unimaginable to me.
Bringing it back to like media and film and shows. No. I'm building. I'm adding to this what you're saying. I'm not. I'm
on the Hopper Belmont Media Podcast.
I'm going to address what you just were talking about.
Welcome back to broccoli
with
or whatever. Like, it's like totally off subject.
No.
That's not orange juice. That's grandpa.
There's a Netflix show, a movie that I just watched last night. It came out like 2 or 3 years ago. It's This Is the End, or This Is How It Ends.
Oh.
With like Forrest Whitaker and like some random guy. No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
That's the comedy.
I'm thinking the comedy.
And again, it's Forrest Whitaker.
Is there a thing that happens and they drive a Cadillac across town?
Yes,
I think I've seen part of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Yes. And what was the point?
Unnecessary beep. So yes, that does confirm for the audience that Ryan just cusses all the time.
What was the point? What were you doing?
I was talking about death and how sad it was and how I couldn't imagine not being able to talk to my dad, not being able to.
I remember, because you're talking about simulation.
Actor the boy? No, that says actor Theo Bray.
Forrest Whitaker.
What are we
Forrest
looking up
Whitaker.
here?
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker is
Hitzhaker,
close enough.
Whitaker.
How it ends.
How it ends. How it ends.
I screamed.
Anyway, so the reason I was bringing that up is because you were saying I hope it's a
Simulation.
simulation, and in the movie there's a part where the guy's like he meets some random dude and the random dude's like, man, this is simulation. And if you think about it, it's one thing for you to be going through a loss and you're addressing those emotions and you're talking about being a simulation, but think about how inappropriate it would be if somebody is dealing, like if we went and we're like, if we're talking to Ukrainians and like, oh, it's just simulation, man. You know, it's like, oh, my entire family is still in that rubble of an apartment complex and I just happen to be outside of it when it came down. 3 generations of my family are gone and you're going to hit me with, it's a simulation.
Right.
So, just another part of it. Another part of the simulation.
This is another. It's like Inception. It's just we're 9 layers deep into the dream. No, I mean like, I don't know. I don't know about their families. I don't know about anybody's family. All I know about is my family. And in my family, in my life, I guess simulation. I don't hope it's a simulation. What I hope for is everything that I believe, everything in my faith. I hope all that is real.
Yeah.
I believe it's real. And because of that, you know, I have comfort, but at the same time, do I? Because I was right there and I'm the guy that faith. I mean, I'm the guy on Instagram who's like, hey, let me pray for you guys today. Let's pray for my followers. Da, da, da. And I say all these things. I say all the good things. Oh, I pray. I do pray. But like, man, it's
hard.
It's easy to say a lot of things until you're right there. And then you're just like, wow, I hope this is all.
That's why it's hard for me to be the self-promoter. We're talking about self-promotion and media and marketing. It's hard for me to be out there really loud on Instagram. Everything's rosy. It's like,
is it?
Is it? Like, to me, like the fake it till you make it, I get it. And like, you know, put out the rosy stuff. It's just so hard for me to do that type of content because it's like, it's just a daily grind. It's a daily battlefield. Mm-hmm. Like everything we do. It's like, you know, is Paul doing what he needs to do? Is Margo doing? Is Donovan, you know, are the you know, it's just like, oh my God, or, you know, so-and-so's pregnant or so-and-so is sick or there's a potential death in the family or,
right,
you know, so it's like we don't have an HR department. So like, and everybody's on the team. So all those aspects is a daily stress. And then also going, oh, I got to make sure that all these people's livelihoods are taken care of every other week when on payday.
Right.
You know? Yeah. So it's like, oh, I have to acknowledge feelings and pay you?
Ugh. I get that.
It's so stressful. But again, though, so having all that, then trying to make content and like everything's rosy. You just got to grind. Just got to do the thing. Just make content twice a day.
Well, I mean, I can tell you.
Gary V.
That's the thing. Like as a, so.
This is the real portion of the podcast.
As a spouse to a creator.
Not to be confirmed, you know, just, you know, with the desk stuff.
With the desk.
Yeah.
As a spouse of a person who's doing this at a very high level, she's great at it. She's brilliant. She's like, I know, hats off to her because every day she's like, you know, trying to put out positive content, trying to be positive. And that's what, you know,
she's married to you.
She's got to deal with always trying to make out with her and stuff. Can you imagine making out with me? That sounds awful.
So like, much stuff.
Just everyday
stuff.
No, but like my wife, she works hard, and I used to not think that. I used to not think that influencers worked hard. I thought that was the most bullshit job ever. And I thought, oh my God, how hard is it to like every hour or so you have to change the DVD on the cartoons for your kids while you make a peanut butter jelly sandwich and hang out in your pajamas all day? Like I used to think it's the easiest job in the world. And till it became a job. Because at the beginning when she was doing it and we were funding it. Like we were funding this venture that she was doing. And it was costing, but it wasn't, you know, necessarily returning. And then everything just kind of shifted and changed. And now, you know, I look at her and I go, how do you do what you do? Because I could not do that. I could not be positive all the time. I couldn't be, and it's not an act. That's the thing is it's not really an act. She actually genuinely, if there's an issue or if she has a problem or if she's feeling stressed about something, she genuinely deals with it and then moves on from it. And she's like, I
started following her since, you know, you started working here and you don't read her DMs, do you? Just checking because you haven't hit me yet. No,
man,
anyway, no, but she does. I haven't met her in person, obviously, or is it obvious? No, anyway, what I'm getting at is I'm not getting at anything because I'm rambling.
You've seen it.
She seems authentic.
Yeah.
Because when she's tired, she gives like, I don't want to do this, but she does it. But then when she does do like a product thing or she's all glammed up, it's like, oh, she's super happy Allie. Maybe that's her other
Super Happy Alley.
super happy Allie. Somebody get that Instagram handle real quick.
Well, I think like,
But my point is she brings that level of authenticity, even if it's maybe not the most authentic her at that moment in time. It still seems like it.
well, and that's the thing is like,
Because there's levels.
that's a
You
different,
want
that's a
levels.
professional, right?
Yeah.
That's like playing hurt. That's going to work when you don't really want to. And it sounds ridiculous because it's like, really, is it going to work? It's hard. Let me just tell you, I am what I would consider myself a micro guy who sometimes has interesting opinions. Shut up. I didn't mean that. A micro influencer. That's what I'm looking for. Micro influencer.
What
guy.
do you think I was going to say?
I thought you were gonna talk about just be like one of those dudes.
Yeah.
Nah.
Zip, 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 zip.
My back hurts because it's hard.
What is it-
Carrying
what is that
around
TikTok
a
thing?
50-pound python everywhere you go.
He's like Magic Johnson.
Magic
Yeah,
Johnson
we were talk-
AIDS. Yeah,
yeah, it's a good
missed the
speech.
boat on
It's a
that
good
one. We
speech.
talked about it a little while ago.
Yeah,
It's
a good
sad.
speech. No, but like going back to the work ethic, like it's easy to downplay an influencer like a TikTok person. All you do is make TikToks. It's like I wouldn't say I'm a creative, but knowing the creative process and seeing the levels of those TikToks, to come up with the concept and then film it and then edit it, the execution of it and act in it, you're like, and it's usually all done by themselves. It's like, oh, there's got to be a respect level. And then you're like, oh, but from a business and like an older person, it's like you spent all day on one TikTok. Oh, that TikTok made me $50,000. Oh, okay. Well, then maybe you should do
Right.
two.
Right. Do another one. That's cool. Can I join the TikTok team?
Could I be a TikToker?
That's what's so funny to me is watching this shift of, because I was like the fuck up, like all fuck ups when I got married and I was doing so. I was major
pre-beard as an F up.
Pre-beard. No, I was a huge fuck up, man. All for the first 3 years of our marriage, it was just a massive. Everything I touched turned to shit. It was just awful. It was awful. And so then I had a little success finally, and she's doing this thing that I'm going, this is terrible. This sucks.
Yeah,
and then it blows up. And what's funny is watching all of the people who have looked at us and our scenario and they're seeing us back when Donovan was in charge of shit and things were not going well, right? And then they think, oh, well, there was a little thing that happened. He's successful, or they're doing stuff. He did that behind the mask thing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like watching people go, well, I feel real dumb for going to school and having $100,000 student loans for this real terrible business degree job when what I'm really passionate about is cooking, right? Like, it's kind of like, how much did they pay you to give up on your dream? Allie and I, we had dreams, we didn't know what they were. People saw something in us, they didn't know what it was because we didn't know what it was.
So this is a question that I'm gonna hear Mike just audibly gas.
Are you gonna fart, Mike?
is like the question of what do you do? What does your company do? Like, what do y'all do? What do you sell?
No,
and it's just
you're talking
like,
about Harper Belmont?
Yeah. And it's just like, because from a professional standpoint, and it goes back to like not really having a deep portfolio quite yet. It's like all what we have is we have work ethic, and we could do this. Anything you need. We can do anything. We can do anything. But if you go to our website, there's really not a sales sheet. There's not yet, at least.
Right.
And it's such a frustrating thing of what do you do? Because the answer is, well, what do you need?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, and you sound like such a douchebag. Like, well, what do you do for a living? Well, what do you need? You know?
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like we do video production. What kind of video production? All of it.
We can handle it all, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but it's like, how do you convey that in a marketable, sellable asset that doesn't sound ridiculous?
oh yeah.
What'd you say?
What?
Tell them what they need.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Tell them. Be the boss. Like,
you need $300,000.
but that is true though. People don't know what they don't know. And if they,
Yeah.
people don't know what they don't know. That's
Right.
put that on a shirt.
Well, I
Sick
think,
of
I
it.
think
God
people,
almighty,
like when it comes
amazing.
to social media stuff,
Yep.
they know they need to be out there. They know they need content,
But they don't know how.
but they don't know what that means. Because the reality is, like, what's the difference between, some jerk off with a phone that you can get for $10 or free? Because it's like, oh, I'll get my cousin or my nephew's kid or the intern down the street, some high school neighbor kid, or do you pay this company $50,000? It's like, what do you want? Because the reality is, it goes back to, you could film something for $300 for a 30-second spot, or you could do a Super Bowl commercial that costs $10 million.
Right.
What do you want?
Right. It's like where what's your budget, right? That's my
Right.
favorite thing is people say, "What's your rate? What's your budget?" And it's like two guns pointing at each other. What's your bait? What's your budget? You know what I mean? Like you're
Well, it's like,
waiting
what do you
for the
want?
first
Yeah.
person to talk loses vibes, right?
Well, it's okay. So let's address that. How would you address that?
I mean, I think you ask.
Like,
Okay.
discovery.
Okay. Are we role playing?
Sure. Hello.
Who's there? Why are you now from Poland? Hello.
No, it's like, hey,
What's your rate?
hey. Well, I thought you were the rate guy.
Okay, I'll be the rate guy.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Donovan, Herbert Belmont, I need some video production.
Mm-hmm.
What's your rate?
What's the scale? Like what?
What do you mean? I don't know. I just know. I watched Gary Vee, and he says I need videos.
Yeah. Well,
So what's that going to cost me?
it depends on what kind of videos you want to make. If you're trying to make a video that's like a commercial or an advertisement, something for a product,
For like YouTube?
yeah, well, YouTube, TikTok, see, and then those conversations happen. And you have to explain the value of each platform, and you have to do all that. So that's why,
I
I'm
just broke our role play.
sorry. I broke the fourth wall because I was
broke-
running out.
yeah.
Hey, so, what's your name?
Just a role play. That's a good.
Stefan?
Stefan? No, okay.
Stephanie.
Stephanie? Stephanie? Okay, Stephanie.
Stephanie.
No, Stephanie. Stephanie's the name.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, it really
pronounced with a fa.
A fa. Stephanie. It really depends on what you want to shoot.
Yeah.
When someone says that they want a video, they assume, oh, I just want this shot. It'll be easy, da, da, da. They don't understand that there's different tier levels of what that could look like. Do you, like you said, do you want it to look like a Super Bowl commercial, or do you want it to look like for social? For us, I'll just be honest. I mean, for what has worked when we shoot stuff, because of who she is. It's like, so for Downtown Alley stuff.
Yeah.
Downtown Alley
Who's your wife?
is my wife. We have had sex
Twice.
twice. 2 kids. Shout out. Hope you're listening. Just kidding.
What? 2 and none.
She's so hot. Okay, so sorry. All right. Well, for Downtown Alley,
I know.
it makes
You
more
check the
sense.
DMs.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. No, okay. So
Yeah.
so for her, it makes more sense to not have a giant production for a lot
Right.
of stuff because it's
Right.
more in tune to her brand and her audience.
So
Like,
shouldn't it, this is Ryan, not Stephanie.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the question be like when it was like
scale is usually
scale
the
should be
easiest
like
question.
what results do you want? Like what's your objectives? What are you trying to get out of this? And take it away from the video production because like what Mike was saying, you tell them what they want. So it's like, well, what do you want? What are your results? What do you want? What do you need? What are you trying to get? Are you trying to get branding? Are you trying to get sales?
I will tell you the overall end all be all for answering the what's that going to cost.
Yeah.
The easiest question, the simplest is what's your budget?
Yeah.
Because that answers all things. If we're doing hypotheticals, yes, we can keep talking forever and ever, but the simplest cut through is if you were to say, hey, I want some videos, I need them done. How much does that cost? And I hit you with, well, what's your budget?
Because then if
It
you
sets
say
the standard for them to go, well, I have $500. Okay, and then that's what you have to work with.
so for $500,
This is what I can do.
this is what I would do.
Yeah.
I would save the money and put it towards something else and then come back when you have a higher budget.
Yeah.
Or actually, if in a real situation, if somebody said that my budget's $500 and they know that you need content, I would say, look, I think the easiest thing to do is every day do a Facebook Live at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and then later in the day do an Instagram Live, and then just get comfortable in front of the camera by just
That's
doing
why
it.
the live. Because I was saying the live. I was like, why live? Because
Just-
it's like being naked in front of somebody.
Well,
yeah.
not only that, it's like because if you're asking somebody to film a video and edit it and post it, they're not going to do that. But if it's just a one button go live and then one button you're done and it's posted, that you're lowering the barrier of excuse and you're taking out the net, and they just get decent on camera.
Yeah.
And then what I tell them would be, watch yourself after that and give yourself critical notes. Kind of like when we did our 2-hour challenge things where we were going through and giving notes on each other, or not each other, on the team.
No, we're giving them on each other.
Yeah. How could you do it better? Da, da, da. It's like, oh, that's brilliant. And it helps grow and helps. But for somebody who doesn't have a budget, it's like, look, save your money, or maybe you go buy a mic or something that you can attach to your phone and just do it yourself. Get comfortable knowing what you're doing here. And then when you see the value of it, maybe then you put a little bit more money in it.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
But I for $500, it's like, again, I've met guys at our meetups that are like, yeah, I've done a music video for $500. I'm like, okay.
And see, those are the kind
great,
of
good,
so
but I don't.
Okay, like I have
to me, it's like anything under the $5,000. I'm like, why are we doing it?
It's trash. Well, no. Like the production value is trash. I don't mean that. Like we'll take the
production value can be great, but I'm just saying from a company, it's like the time benefit effort, the time value money of putting our team's effort into something for something under $5,000. It's like,
Let me ask you this: how do you feel about how important is in this realm brand aesthetic? In your opinion, for somebody who's starting out and somebody who's trying to get there, so how important is it for them to have a brand established right away, a vision for what that brand is, versus discovering kind of what that brand is as you grow?
I would say it depends on what you're trying to establish. Like, are you talking about as a creative, or are you talking about as a business person? Are you talking about as a real estate investor?
Okay, so I have an example. I have
and I hate to answer your question with a question,
but I get it.
I'm not trying to be a scotch.
So I got this dude who I spent a ton of time on, and we were shooting we were actually shooting a full-length documentary about his life. It was going to be this thing. We had all this stuff lined up. He was a musician, amazing musician, extremely gifted, amazing story. He's been through some tragedy. It's been a mess. He's got a great story. Well, I spent probably, I don't know, 60, 70 grand on this production on my own. And then, with the intent of distributing it, and we had some distribution deals lined up. We had some stuff set up, whatever. Anyway, we created this brand for this person. All that stuff, COVID, everything, industry, nothing, everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. Fell apart completely. Devastating. Well, this person immediately presses on, and after establishing a great brand, then the first thing they put out is just trash. It's just absolute trash. How do you, my response to that was just, I have to distance myself from this brand completely. I want none of my fingerprints on any of this, because this is trash. What we were doing was cool. This is not cool. Like, how do you, how serious and how important is establishing firm brand identity and not wavering or moving from that once it's been established? This is really just an excuse for me to bash.
So I think the real question there is, and I understand the COVID aspect of it, of going in a different direction and putting out trash. It would be, why are you doing that when you have this over here?
Right.
If you can't do this over here anymore because maybe the budget's not there, or because of COVID or whatever, that you had all these issues, then I think for as trashy as The Tonight Show and Colbert and all those shows are, I thought they did a really good job of establishing a new thing, and everybody, it's obviously worse than the real thing, but they all know it's worse because they did it at home.
Right.
So I guess
there's grace given by the fan base.
There's grace but also they're acknowledging, and it's a simple thing, they're acknowledging that this is never going to be as good because if you notice, they're never wearing suits. And I think that was the reason they did that is because they wanted to establish that this is not
on the Tonight Show.
The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
This is, hey, we're at the at-home show because we can't go to the studio just yet. and that's why they grew out the hair. That's why they didn't do their hair. It's not because they didn't have, they could do hair.
They could do what they wanted to do.
They know what they all have wives. They can do hair and makeup.
I mean, a lot of that is, it's all theater. It's all theater.
But the theater was, and this is all my opinion. I don't know anything for fact. But to answer your question, the theater was, let's make it as home as possible. So one, we can connect with the audience, but two, we're really it's obviously painfully obvious that this is not the established brand that we already have. Mm-hmm. So going back to your scenario and your example, if they were trying to do the same thing but shittier, I think that's a horrible mistake.
That was the move.
If it's not the same, then go in a 180 direction and go hard charging. I think it's okay to do new things and experiment, but if you're trying to do the same thing but not the same quality, that's not a good move.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I know that was long-winded.
No, but that's the best way to say it, because I think there's this misconception that everybody in the world's a creative. Everybody in the world has a camera. Everybody in the world can do what creatives do. Everyone in the world could do what you do. This, that. And the reality is you can't, because if you could,
you would. Well, everyone in the world thinks they're a good basketball player or a good singer, and then there's some asshole in Nashville bartender who sings
better than they ever could dream.
Crushes your entire
spirit
existence when it comes to songwriting and singing or whatever.
Dude, I quit the band from stage like a month and a half later. Like as soon as that whole arrangement was done.
What? Oh.
What?
He's telling us to rap.
Oh. As soon as we were just trying to shoot as many as we can. Like we have multiple. But as soon as, Well,
it's one.
It was time. It's time.
You know
it's
what?
time. Goodbye.
Mike said, "Fuck it." He said he scotched it out.
He said, "Rap." It's a rap.
He scotched.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing. Your career, your dreams, your hopes of your whatever.
Who cares?
No one cares, and that's what we really want to convey here at Harper Belmont is no one cares. Until next time.
Bye, guys, girls, people.